Hello all, Project Wargaming here back with a new video. It's been quite a while since I've been doing videos. Last year had me going on a 4-month sabbatical in the middle of the summer, so I drove 16,000 miles, truck camp, and fly fished through the American West, something I always wanted to do, and I was blessed to be able to have the opportunity. So that took a ton of time prepping everything that I needed to do to live in the truck for 4 months. So it was great. It was a great time. I got back and kind of been playing catch up at work and just trying to get back into life, and it took a while to get back into the hobby stuff as well. So, but here I am. I'm back with new videos. I'm starting a new project for Mordheim. Mordheim is celebrating its 25th anniversary, I believe, this year. It's one of my favorite games. GW games are kind of, I don't know, the comfort food, I think, of the wargaming world. So it's always something safe to go back to, and is good to get you back into kind of the habits of wargaming and kind of get you some motivation. So I've always loved the Mordheim setting. I've always loved the war bands and everything. I love kind of the role-playing aspect to it. So you can see that I've already started doing some buildings. I've started doing some staircases and things. I've done some raised platforms here, tons of raised platforms. I've started making some terrain boards as well. But what I'm going to focus on today is actually the texture here of these boards. So there's tons of videos out on how to get textures onto your boards. There's tons of videos out on how to use texture rollers to get that texture onto your terrain. I agree. There's lots of good videos. However, I'm going to do a technique that I haven't seen on other videos. I haven't scoured the entire YouTube to find every single video on how to use a texture roller, but this is how I have found that it's easy to do. It's fairly quick. It's fairly painless, and gives you a good product at the end. So this is the technique I use. I use a texture roller. This is a texture roller, 3D printed, 2 of them kind of glued together. I got this file off of My Mini Factory, I believe. So did that. And then the other thing I will be using is some sealant, caulking. This is what I kind of know it as. I use the black. This is just the DAP brand from Home Depot. I think it's running around $9. You can get the white, and the white is much cheaper. The white is like $5. So it does take a fair amount of caulking to do this. So, if money is an issue for you, then definitely get the cheaper stuff. But I like the black because I know that if I scuff it or if something happens, then it's not going to show nearly as much as the white. I think actually this caulking is a really good material to use for everything. Guys have been using it forever for wargaming mats. But here's what I do. So I take the caulk, put it onto the foam. A fairly generous amount is what you will need. And then just take your spreader, scraper, whatever you want to do, and make sure that you try to get a fairly even coat all the way around the object you are applying it to. It adheres very well to this insulation foam. It adheres pretty well to pretty much anything that I've put it on so far. Metal, foam core, and this. So it's great stuff to use. All right, so nice even thing. Now, I've done this before where I put the tile grout over top of it, and then I roll. But if I do that, what's going to happen is these lines are going to show through. So what I do is I use a small paint roller. I come in and roll over top. This puts another texture in, but this texture is much more spread around. it doesn't have kind of harsh lines in there as much as it used to. But it'll show through every once in a while, but not nearly as bad, not as noticeable as just the plain old lines from where you smeared it. You take the tile grout, apply it very generously all over top, and I shake it off, and then I pat it down on top of this pad because I have some caulking underneath of it. That flattens this down a bit. I hit it again. Take my tile roller or my texture roller, and then you want to try to roll fairly slow and evenly all the way across your surface. So that did pretty well. You can see here on the edges, it didn't quite get as much. I can just go in a little bit more and hit that just to give it a little bit more definition or texture in those areas. If I had an area that was a little too wavy, so you can see here, there's a little bit of wave from the pressure that I was putting, I can come in and kind of cross hatch to blend some of that just a little bit better. But this gives me a great texture on this piece of foam. It'll be very easy to paint. But what has to happen first is this has to dry completely. Give it a good, if you can give it 24 hours, it's great. Some of this stuff tacks up pretty well within a few hours. And then the next step that I do is I take it outside and I spray it down with a water hose. So I take as much of the grout off of it as I possibly can. And what I'm left with is this. So you can see I use a different texture on the sides. And then you can see that there's some here that's applied a little bit differently. But just a nice dark surface. Some of the grout is still in there, but it works great. So that's what I'm doing. It works great for me. I really like it. It's fairly messy, but it makes working with this caulk pretty fast. That's it. Good to be back. We'll talk to you later.